So we are on stream 199 today. Can you believe it? It feels like yesterday when we was in the 20s and 30s and 40s. Only this time last year we were like stream 60 something this time last year, but now we stream 199, one away from a very special number. And I do have some plans. I do. Are you excited, everyone? And more cleaning and script writing for my comic. Hopefully I can do some human autonomy practice as well. Sounds like loads of fun. That's the fun life, I say. Being creative and doing that fun stuff. But as for surprises, one of them's a secret. The other, everybody knows what the other is, an updated logo. So stream might look a tiny bit different next time on Monday. It's going to be Monday when we have it. I've got lots to do over the weekend to get this stuff done. So I'm super excited. But other than that, today we're going to just carry on with the dialogue stuff. Let me just... well, I'm going to get up an incognito tab because I've got to get some notes I made and sent to my email. Oh yes, and last stream we also did some estimated release dates. I've made it super pretty now. Found a way to get it bolded, the text, which is I'm very happy with. Thanks to awesome people in chat helping me with that. So you can have a look at that while I just get my thingamajigs up. I have forgot my password. Oh, I've got it. Good, I thought it was hacked. Azriel says that he will be lurking today a lot on at work. Anyone needs me for anything, just ping me. Oh, bless you, Azriel. You lurk away. I believe that on Fridays people should have a relaxing day at work. If I was Prime Minister, I would have that rule. Okay, so I've got my notes up. Okay, so let's remind ourselves what we was doing last stream. So yes, just I mean, the Trello page is here if anyone wants to have a peek. Considering it's newly updated, if anyone wasn't here last time, you might want to have a peek at that. Because we do have some dates now for when the releases will happen. For episode 1, so the little emoji means the season. So I've said spring 2021 now, but it's probably going to be March. It's going to be right at the start of spring. It was originally going to be in the winter, but because of a few things going on, such as me moving house and a few little things I'm changing mechanically in game, which I'll talk to you about at some point. Only a few little bits, but still. It's going to just delay it a little bit, but it's exciting. It's super exciting to see them all there. Okay, we were working on getting all the dialogue trees in for main quest 1 and 2, because that's what the first, very first build is going to be, main quest 1 and 2. And we've literally got all main quest 1s here. This is all a main quest 1's dialogue, which you can also see in the lore Bible here. Get those up. There it is. And last stream we were just getting in the dialogue trees for main quest 2 because we hadn't yet done that, and we've only done the first scene of main quest 2 so far. Well, we've done the others, but we haven't put them in as dialogue trees yet. We're actually very close to finishing the dialogue completely for main quest 2. But it's going to be taking a bit of time to get all the trees in, because there's a couple of very long scenes in main quest 2, and I thought maybe we could do that today, but first, before we do that, I want to finish the Carol the Barrel scene that we was working on, because it was incomplete. We've got to be continued here. It wasn't quite done. But that's priority. And then once we've done that, we can finally get the other quest put in. And that'll be good then, because that is one of the goals. Quest and dialogue to dialogue for main quest 1 and 2. Mr. Raydo, thank you so much for the 7 months. That is pretty badass, don't you think? I appreciate the support. My goodness, over 2k raindrops. You are in the top 20, my friend. Let's have some hype in chat, everybody, for that sub. Thank you so much for being fabulous. Appreciate it, and I hope you're having a good Friday, Raydo. Hope you are indeed. So yes, we're gonna go back to story suggest-a-thon stuff like next week, I'd say. Why these labels disappeared? Because it's been a little bit since we've done that. We've got a lot to chat about. We've got a lot of story outlining to do, a lot of plot ideas to think of, character development and world building. So that is not finished. That is forever ongoing. Basically, the story suggest-a-thon is never going to end. They will pop up on a regular basis during streams when we're not doing game dev or stuff like that. And I feel in the mood to do some more idea stuff for it, but today we're going to get some dialogue stuff done because it's necessary, and I've kind of marked what we've done. So as you can see, I've got a tick by 4 scenes out of main quest 1 because we have done all of them apart from that middle one, which is Carol joins you, because we were in the process of getting it as good and awesome as possible. And that's our task for today, to get that as good as possible. Main quest 2, we have done scene 2, 3 and 4. All those dialogue flows are all in Draw.io, but I want to make them, obviously I want to embed them on our lore Bible so they can all be on here. I've only ticked to the first quest for main quest 2 because that's the only one in our lore Bible currently. So I'm pretty confident we can get caught with the dialogue and get it all done probably next week, maybe. If we get the final scene done, that is, because that's going to be a task as well, the one where we decide what to do with the fruits. We were sort of in the process of writing that one before we stopped. And then it'll just be up to me to get the scenes all done, which we might do sometimes on stream, but I might make that an off-stream priority. Because I like to do world building and ideas discussion on stream, and I'm kind of in the mood to do that on stream as well. So we'll be bringing back story suggest-a-thon, and then we got loads of stuff ahead, such as skills and battle stuff, and getting the UI ready for the first Black Build. The UI itself isn't going to be like the final thing, of course, for the first playable build, but I'm just planning to at least get the mini-maps done, the quest icons and markers, and have that be an optional turn off and on feature in the options menu. If I can get that just done for the UI for the first playable build, I'll be fine with that. And obviously it'll get more detailed and more finalised as we do more of these builds. Yay! Nearly in the top 200. Not too bad at all, Miss Saika. I'm proud of you. I wonder if any of you can get into the top 10. Because you know it's possible. Hi Matt, how you doing? Happy Friday. How are things? We're just reviewing our updated Trello page where I've got super organised, got dates together, and I'm just talking through what the plans are and what we're going to be working on soon for the rest of the year. It's going to be a mixture of story suggestathon stuff where we really flesh out what's coming ahead so that we know what content is coming up to implement once we've done the first playable build. And now and again, if I get writer's block, we need a break from that stuff, I'll be working on actual game dev implementation work, because the dialogue writing stuff isn't actually game dev, is it? It's just doing flows, but we're nearly done with that side of things. I can't see us spending more than a few streams over the next month, maybe just another 2 or 3 streams on that, or 4 maybe, before that's all 100% done. Because it's really just the Carol joining us scene and the Roses scene, main quest scene 2 Roses painting scene that actually need to be done, because the others are basically there now. So here we are. We're going to work on Carol stuff. So this was how far we got. We've even got an outline of how we kind of want the scene to go. Just basic, very, very basic outline. If it needs adjusting, fair enough, but it's good to have something to go off. So here it is. Where were we? We've got up to here. Now it's been a week or so since we were last looking at this scene, so might need to refresh myself a bit. Okay, and what does the scene card say? So, Carol approaches you and attempts to convince you to let her join, which is kind of that one. Carol says she's joining your one, so that's covered. We got that one. Carol watches you struggle to fit items in your pocket. She figures out a perfect role is to be your inventory. There. Now, how can we label these? I just want to make sure that we've covered everything on the scene card and haven't accidentally missed something out, because we don't want to write all this and be like, oh, but we completely forgot to cover that important point. So I'll just number them. See that as number 1, that as number 2, that as number 3, and that as number 4. So before this scene, Carol realised someone with a weapon could help her, perhaps even protect her and make sure she doesn't get harmed or damaged by humans. Now, this of course is happening internally, so it doesn't always make it obvious. We haven't kind of made it obvious in any of these points, but as long as we can sort of subtly reflect what she's feeling and thinking and internally in the dialogue, then we've sort of got it. I'll have to review those to make sure. We'll put that as 2 instead. We'll have to review those and just make sure that that kind of makes sense with Carol's dialogue, that we're getting that across all right. And anything else, because I might have missed something about Carol that she might be thinking internally. You guys might have spotted something. Right, so yeah, this is the first half of the scene, and this is the second half of the scene, and we're gonna try and get it all done. So, okay. So I didn't like this dialogue here. I think it can be better. I think we can sort of improve that a little. Because it hasn't got the impact that I want it to have. It's just a bit fluff, dialogue fluff, just there for the sake of it. So do that for now. But I like the other two. Like this one's entertaining. And this one's entertaining too. So I feel like dialogue has to either be entertaining or, you know, drive the plot forward or kind of give you character insight, because every single dialogue box, we don't want even one dialogue box to be boring. That's the goal. Every dialogue box has to be good. It's a challenge, but we'll do it. Right, so let me just check something. Do a bit of a quick little Google of a thing. Well, this scene is like literally, with the plan with the guy, is miles better than how it was originally, because everything was just, it was just too sudden and abrupt before. Like Carol was just like, yeah, I'll be your inventory. There was no like development there or any build up. She was just like, I'll be your inventory, and that was it. So I think it's cool to have a bit of Carol back and forth banter. Well, it's not really back and forth, because Carol's actually just rambling on herself and monologuing to herself. But that's cool in my opinion. Okay. So, go on, make this awesome. What I'm thinking is, right, so it helped a lot doing Main Quest 2 Scene 1 first before finishing this part, because it happens here as well. The hero, again, draws his weapon to Carol. And I wanted to remind myself how she reacted to that, whether she freaked out or whether she was like cool about it. She kind of is cool about it. She says she's not scared. So that's, to stay consistent with Carol's character, we've obviously got to make sure the number one thing here is to make sure she doesn't freak out or act scared, because it will clash with what happens later and make no sense. She's Carol would never be scared. Carol's not the fearful character. She's like the opposite of that. She's too proud to show her fears, and doesn't mean she doesn't have them. She's just too proud to show them. She might have been like that in her past though, which is interesting, because we had a really cool Halloween stream where we came up with backstory ideas, and we will like review those during one of the stories suggested on streams, and we can narrow it down which Carol backstory we're going to pick. Because I think at first I was like, we'll do that well into the future, but I'm actually thinking it's probably better to do it soon, even if we don't find out as the player and audience what her backstory is. It's still important for us to know, so we can kind of have a bit of character consistency. in little clues revealed in the dialogue over time. So she is not scared. That's really the only thing we need to know here, and she kind of needs to not be scared here. So what I was thinking, because the old dialogue was just, it wasn't powerful enough, and I think I'm thinking of approaching it with something like, but it doesn't mean my idea is 100% like amazing yet, but it's just an initial thought. Let me just think of how to like phrase the sentence. Because I've got an idea in my head, but I want to think of how to like word it so it flows naturally as dialogue. Hi Kylasaur, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for stopping by, and happy Friday to you. How have you been? I'm doing decent. I'm doing decent because I've got this awesome project to work on. That's what gives me life. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have this project, I'll be honest. I don't know what I'd do in my life. What would I do? Nothing. Right, so, right, basically I was thinking she could respond with saying something like, violence, that's all you humans, that's all you flesh bags are good for. Something to that degree. Not humans, because Carol doesn't call humans humans. She calls them flesh bags. Now, the moment when she finally does start calling them stop using that word, will be very, very impressive, because it'll be the beginnings of when Carol starts to embrace humanity. But it's not going to happen. Not yet. That's for sure. The flesh bag will continue. The flesh bag word will be there for a while, for a bit, we'll say. I've been all right. I've been doing some documents also myself. What app is this? Oh, this is a Drawing. Everybody's asking me this a lot lately because my flow diagrams look so gorgeous. I'm very happy with how they look, I have to say. They didn't look like this at first. They were a right mess at first, but I've been like getting the aesthetic. Been working on the aesthetic, and I'm very pleased with it now. What we've got, I think it's very clear, the information, when we look at it compared to before. She's got a calling worthless scum that shouldn't even exist. You dirty fleshbags only thrive from violence and chaos. Nasty worthless scum, something like that maybe. Yeah, that's a good, yeah. So I guess that could work, like that sort of structure of the dialogue for her, because basically I always know what I want to say. Something like, violence is all you do, isn't it? That's all you're good for. Like, that's the gist of what we wanted to say. I think I wanted to say that because I think that's kind of a thought-provoking thing as well for the audience to hear. Like, people will be like, oh, is this the sort of approach the story's taking then? Violent humans and things, which sort of, but also no, because humanity is complicated. There's lots of differences in humanity. There's lots of good people and there's lots of bad people. And Carol does have a point, you know. There's a lot of horrible, violent flashbacks out there, but that's all she's experienced so far in her life. So she's kind of got that misbelief, but over time she's going to realise, no, there's some good out there. And oh right, at some point I should use Draw to make better graphs of my thoughts on player decision stuff. Yeah, you should. I recommend it to anyone. It's not perfect. I mean, it's not the most wonderful software because it is free. I'm sure that some of the ones you pay for are better, or as I'm not, it just works okay, and I've got used to it a bit now, so it can be despite it being temperamental at times, it's still my fave. So something like should we have, I guess it's thinking of her tone now. Is she going to be calm or is she going to freak out? Because Carol is a Sunday, even though she was pretty calm here. But maybe it's because she's got hardened to it now. But I feel like she should react a little bit more in this scene here compared to here, because this is the first time the hero draws their weapon on her. That's the second time, so she's kind of got used to the fact that he does that by that point. So yeah, she should definitely show more. I think I'm with you, Protos. She should react, because this is the bad Carol option, isn't it? This one, you lose more affinity points and you lose compassion here, whereas these two aren't as in bad for Carol, even though she definitely has an attitude. She's got to have more of an attitude in this one than she's got in those two, because the old one, the way it was before, that was the nicest dialogue in my opinion. That sounds better than those two. So yes, I think pushing it a bit further and going for something like that's going to be good. So yeah, I figure it would be easier to annotate the lines and stuff with text than just putting text on images. Yeah. And if anyone wants to share their flows with us, if you use Draw.io, pop them in the Creative Work channel in the future. Whatever you use it for, guys, because I might steal ideas. But I'm pretty happy with how this looks, so I might keep this look from now on. Okay, so So I like Proto's dialogue suggestion. I think we can use that. I think we can use something like that. The only thing I'm thinking is that she should maybe talk directly to the hero specifically, at least in the first part of the dialogue, before she insults flashbacks as a whole. Only because he's drawing, they're drawing their weapon on her. So there has to be some initial reaction to that weapon being drawn, because there's obviously going to be a bit of shock there. You're going to have some reaction to the weapon being drawn. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean she has to freak out or that she has to rage, but the dialogue or whatever she says has to kind of be a response to the weapon being drawn in some way. I use a combination of Miro and Millernote and Trello for my project management stuff. Oh, I've not heard of the first two. That Miro, I see that's a free one. And interesting. Trello, I definitely am with you and recommend. Love it. Love Trello. This is our Trello. Okay, so I love the adjective of dirty for flashbacks. I kind of definitely want to get that in, you dirty flashbacks. I think that just makes it even more stronger. It's a real burn. Carol is savage. We got to make sure that. So I like using those descriptive adjectives to really burn the player, because she's done it here. So it can carry on. And although she's not the most, like we say, fancy and articulate and expressive with the way she speaks, Carol's a little bit more straightforward and blunt than that. But she's still pretty descriptive and strong with the way she insults people, that's for sure. Of course, you would take out your sword, or maybe you could help yourself, could you? Yeah, okay. So we either have your weapons that the hero uses, either axe or arrows. So I kind of want to make it the same like, because I don't want to get us going too branchy out because of, unless we can think of something really descriptive specifically for arrows and acts like we did here. Sometimes I don't mind doing that, but if we did it all the time in every single carol sentence, it could get a bit much. But I'm thinking if we could think of a general way to talk about weapon. I guess you could just say weapon. So let's think then. Something like, I like, of course you would take out your sword, or of course you would take out your weapon, or yes, something like that could definitely work. And then she could say, you dirty flashbacks only thrive from violence and chaos. Like, that could be the second half of the dialogue. I like adding that point about flashback humans being violent and Carol noticing that, because I don't think we've done that so far in any of Carol's dialogue yet. Like, we know that in the first scene she nearly gets killed if you pick the really horrible option. So that's kind of the first indicator that humans are violent towards barrels. But Carol obviously doesn't react to it because she's hiding herself. She hasn't had the chance to react to the violence yet, so I think it's a good opportunity. She's definitely done a lot of moaning and whining, but it's all been about just complaining about the hero being smelly or something, or making her uncomfortable. It's an interesting one to like explore Carol's opinions and beliefs within her dialogue on humans. So yes, and I think Myra and Trello, both the same parent company, and Milanote and Myra were similar, but Milanote is a little cleaner. I'm going to look at those ones just simply out of pure curiosity. It's always good to know what's out there. I'm surprised I haven't come across them, because I spent a whole night several weeks ago really researching about other programs to use. So, would course be the one in italics? Because, you know, for emphasis, like, she'd be like, of course you would draw your weapon, yeah, something like that. And then you dirty flashbacks. Now, I love the word thrive, but I'm not sure whether Carol's vocabulary would have that word in it, because it's quite descriptive. Well, I don't see why not. I just want to make sure. I mean, she could easily say that word, but I like to overanalyze every single thing to make sure. And a simpler way to do it would be nothing but violence. I mean, it's not as fancy or descriptive. And I'm trying to think of the way Carol would speak. If it was somebody like Nigel Buckington, who is a bit more poetic, I guess, a little bit more educated, perhaps he would say that. Hey, where did it go? No. Flashbacks should become an official word in the dictionary. Why isn't it? Why has it got a red line under it? A dictionary. Hey Rose, are you doing all right? Hi Rod, how you doing? It's good to see you. Happy Friday. How are things on your end? And that emote is my favourite, Kyla, and I don't have it. It's haha cat, isn't it? See, I don't have it. Flashbacks. Hi, sort of. That's a good pun. Flashbacks and flashbacks combined makes the word flashbacks. Of course you would draw your weapon, you dirty flat. Yes. Now the only thing about, like, I love that. I think this is a much more of an improvement on the old dialogue we had in this box. But the only thing we're missing is the thing that triggers her saying that she's joining you. The other two dialogue boxes cover that. We've got you're responsible for covering any damages I suffer now. Basically, is a way of saying you're stuck with me now because you've got to pay me back for what you've done. For when the hero was inside her and made her life a misery, she's like, yeah. And this one is you're stuck with me now. There's no subtlety there. She's just spelt it out that she's going to be with him. So we got to kind of do something to that degree for the first box. Before, what was it before? Let's just remind ourselves. Put that away, you'll need it. Wouldn't want to waste precious arrows. Well, it's not arrows if you're a warrior. Before our journey has begun. So we did it there because she was basically saying, well, I'm with you because this is our journey. not your journey, our journey. So that was Carol saying, yeah, I'm coming. Difficult one with this one actually, because she's so against him and like insulting the hero so hard that to make it fly is it to her saying I'm joining you would just be so out the blue and random. So I'm trying to get my head around how we could do this. Unless she like said something to a degree of, yes, I'll have to come with you to pacify you a bit. Well, that don't, something. That's the only thing I can think of right now. And imagine every time Cal makes fun of a human's appearance, party member replies with, "You're actually a barrel though." LOL. Nothing wrong with being a barrel though. Like, what? Let's ask this question: what's wrong with being a barrel? Like, if someone said to us, well, I can't think, that we're a human, we're not going to get insulted by that because we know we're a human. That's what we are when we look in the mirror. And maybe she follows him to try to continually insult him. Well, insulting just comes naturally to Carol. It's like just ingrained in her because of her traumatic past and the way she's been treated by humans. It's not like she does it on purpose. She's not going to be an annoying pest who is just nasty for the sake of it, or empty comic relief. She has a reason for why she's so cynical and hateful, and that is going to all be revealed in flashbacks in the future. We had a Halloween stream, remember, where we thought of horrible pasts for Carol and barrels, and all that's going to really come in for when we find out why Carol is so anti-human and hateful. She's gonna, I mean, she's got one up on the hero because she's gonna be their inventory. And she knows that she can give the hero cheek without worrying about her life, because the hero's not going to ever like, you know, hurt or harm or destroy his own inventory, even if they're super evil. And just stopping in to say hi and see how you were. Any plans for the weekend? Oh gosh, this weekend I'm doing loads of prep for stream 200, because look, we're on stream 199. We want away from the special 200, so I'm getting stuff prepared, so probably just constantly working, which is kind of what I do anyway most times, but especially this weekend. So yep, I'm excited. Ingrained in the wood. Yep, kind of was a pun there that I said that I didn't even realise. Okay, right, there's another way we could do this, because the fact is Carol wants to join the hero as well. Well, she wants to join the hero because they're violent, because she knows that with the hero as her protector, she's safe, because the hero knows how to fight, and Carol feels that her life will be less in danger if she's got a fighter on her side. So although she's insulting the hero here for being violent, she is kind of like, well, they're violent, but that's going to benefit me. So maybe we could kind of word that in a way that it flows with Carol says she's joining you. I don't know why I've struck that out, because we haven't kind of finished it. So let me just get it back, because we haven't finished that yet. So something like that could work. Something like, we don't want to make it too wordy and long, because then the dialogue would be too long. We don't want to make it as much longer than these, but I guess if we were short and sweet about it, we could say something like, you'll be useful to me, or not that, but something along those lines, so that it just sounds something that sounds better, sounds a bit, that flows and is a bit more natural. That's good. Hope you stay safe, and you, Rod, and you. I never leave my house, so most of the time I am safe, unless my keyboard decides it wants to attack me, then I'm fine. Oh my god, number 60, sorta, well done. That's awesome. GG. 60th most raindrops in the entire stream. Hi Luca, how are you doing? Hey, I'm new and I'm a little intrigued but confused by the barrel. Is it a person inside the barrel, or are they the barrel itself? Carol the barrel is a sentient barrel. She's a barrel who is a person. Barrel. So imagine if barrels were a race. That's what it is, except they're not a race because they were brought to life from a spell. Think of it a bit like Toy Story, because toys aren't meant to be alive either, but they kind of were brought to life in Toy Story. Could the player threaten Carol to be their inventory? I think that would work out too conveniently for Carol, because that's what she wants. It's just how she's going to go about getting it. She don't even know herself that she wants to be the hero's inventory yet, by the way. She is only going to realise that when something happens in the second half of the scene. The hero's going to pick up an item off the floor, and Carol's going to be like, oh, you've only got, what are those tiny holes? And she'll be like, useless flesh bag. And then it will like, a light bulb will go off in her head at that point, and she's going to realise, perfect, I'm roomy and I'm a roomy, spacious barrel. He can put his items in me. So that will be what triggers her to offer to be the inventory. There's point 6 and 7 basically. So Yeah, if the hero was to be the one to threaten her to be that would be too convenient for Carol. Like, it'd be too easy for her. She's got what she wants without even trying. I guess the hero's mindset and sort of behaviour in this scene is avoidance. If we can get ourselves into that frame of mind, he's going to just walk away, ignore her, continue walking away while Carol starts complaining and rambling to herself. And I guess when she offers to be inventory, the hero's gonna be like, well, actually, you actually might be a good inventory, so I'll probably just go along with that. So it's all about us as the hero listening to just observing the world at this point, observing Carol and trying to take in what on earth is happening. The hero themselves don't actually say a lot in this scene at all. The choices that the hero's made so far is just actions. They have just, I don't know why it's gone all the way down there. All they've done is either draw their weapon, run away in fear, or offer to shake hands. Those are all actions, not words. So every single moment so far, the hero's not said a word to Carol. The hero speaks here at this point, but that's to a person, not Carol. So you kind of like haven't even had a chance to respond to this barrel yet. You're kind of just listening to it as it goes mad at you. You're like, and you dirty flashbags know nothing but violence, but if you protect me, I'll help carry the equipment you need to survive against your vicious foes. Something like that sounds perfect. I mean, we might want to shorten it just a touch so it doesn't go, the box isn't too much longer than this, but I think the structure of that sentence is what we're looking for. So I think that's ideal, Matt. We'll look at that and use that as a framework very shortly. Thank you very much. And so what's happening here? Barrels and humans dislike each other. What a weird sentence to join the stream to. Hi, Binary. What sentence did I say when you came in? I'm curious now. And as for Sorter's question, barrels and humans dislike each other. I mean, we have a lore Bible, guys. And we also have a lore video on the YouTube channel. If you scroll right to the bottom, it's a bright yellow thumbnail. So if you do want to know about the barrel lore in more detail, I mean, it's only early days yet. There's going to be more lore over time, but that's the starting point for lore. And we've got a little premise summary on the lore Bible right at the top. It basically just says that it's a world where objects are kind of strangely coming to life. This has just started happening. That's really the description of the plot. And that's it. I guess you gotta think, objects coming to life, there's going to be a lot of reactions to that. A lot of people are going to be freaked out. Humans are going to react badly. Out of just pure ignorance and fear, and barrels are gonna not think much of humans because of that. They're gonna think, well, they're horrible for doing that to us, in simple terms. And it kind of, the whole war with the reptiles and humans kind of parallels it as well, because there's hatred going on with the humans and an actual race as well. It's going to just, in Carol's mind, it's going to just make it even more clear that humans are a violent bunch of horrid people. Oh, the standard Carol being all good with being used as someone's inventory holder. And they were mimics the whole time. Hi artist, how are you doing? Welcome back to the stream. And oh, if she'll say that, then she can just say, I'll keep my eye on you. Ooh, that could work. Don't get me wrong, I liked the other sentence, but thinking about it now, Carol, I'm not sure, yeah, Carol might not be as open and honest with her intentions, especially so early on in the scene. She could maybe at the end of the scene, when the heroes agreed to tolerate her, open up about the fact that what she wants to do for them. But yeah, I think I'll keep my new will work. Also because Carol herself hasn't actually realised that she can be the inventory right now. She's not that clever that she could think of that yet. That would be pretty smart for Carol to think of that out the blue like that, but she will realise when she sees the hero struggling to pick up items and fit them in their pocket. That'll be the moment she realises. So we're going to do that part of the scene soon. So periods or exclamation mark, because she's a very angry, lot of anger within Carol. So I think she naturally uses a lot of exclamation marks because of that. Not all the characters will be like that though, but it's kind of Carol's unique tone of voice. You dirty flashbags know nothing but violence. I'll keep mine on you. I love dirty flashbags. I love the combination. I'm trying to think if there are any other horrible adjectives to use in front of flashbacks that she can use in the future. So we've got dirty flashbags. Filthy flashbags is another. Maybe. Lice infested flashbacks. Wow, that sounds disgusting. But barrels could get lice as well, couldn't they? There is such a thing as insects eating wood, I believe. So, I'll keep my eye on you. Termites, yes, exactly. Barrels and I'm sure someone's backstory idea involved that, actually, because we got a big Google Doc of Carol horrible traumatic backstory ideas that we thought of on Halloween, and we will be reviewing those backstory ideas and narrowing it down to the ones that actually happened at some point, and carpenter bees. So I do kind of think maybe the periods might make more sense in this regard, even though she usually is more of an exclamation mark person. She now and again uses periods. We don't want to overdo it. An encounter with magical termites sounds interesting. Sounds gross, I think, but I'm all for doing that. I'm all for the nightmare fuel. Raindrop Chronicles is going to have its nightmare fuel now and again, I'm sure. I always just love seeing you up and working on this game. You have so much passion for it. Thank you, Sorta. Yeah, I'm just a big nerd. That's all I am. I appreciate the kind words. Alrighty ho. So, I think we've achieved what we needed to. Every single dialogue box ends with Carol sort of insinuating that she's going to join the hero. We got, I'll keep my eye on you. You're responsible for covering my damages. You're stuck with me now. So I think we've done the job we needed to with that. So we can, Carol's joining you. We can cross that one off. Though she's been pretty she hasn't been pushy enough yet. So the hero is going to just walk away. because he's not convinced. I say he, but we do have multiple genders for the hero, by the way. So, don't think that you can only have a male hero. Okay, so you'll probably like look at her for a bit, but then walk away. That's what I'm thinking. So we'll probably use a green box for this, because we use green boxes for actions. Obviously, we tend to use these boxes for the hero, but we're not getting a choice, and that's for hero choices. So we haven't got a choice here. We'll put to be continued up there for now. So we'll use this. And by the way, this is updating in real time on the Lore Bible, everybody. So if anyone wants to have a closer look at the dialogue as we do it, I'll just link you to the actual article link. I'm also going to just pop an announcement in the World Anvil Discord, folks, to say that we're live. Because this Lore Bible that I've just given in chat, for those of you that don't know, is made in World Anvil. It's an awesome little tool for world building that I recommend, and they've got a pretty cool Discord too. Oops, and I was silly enough to not put the, that was an accident now. I didn't put my Twitch. There we go. So, we'll say it'd be the hero looks at the barrel, not Carol, because we haven't been introduced to her yet. So the hero, no, not the hero, you. Change that. I'm still in the habit of writing the hero, because I used to have it worded as the hero instead of you, but I decided to change it because it's just a bit better, I think. You look at the barrel and walk away. And I think the reason why I like the idea of the hero walking away from Carol more, and this is just the first time the hero walks away. Here's one time. And here's another time. And I think the reason why is just to kind of make it apparent that you as the hero so early on in the game have a very you're not really that accepting of Carol yourself, and you're kind of going through a bit of disbelief, I guess, that the barrel's even a thing. I mean, you've only really just realised too that barrels are alive. You're not going to just be like, oh okay then let's go on an adventure together and have fun. No, it's not going to go that smoothly straight away. This character arc with Carol and you as the hero has to have development and a gradual relationship growth. And in the beginning, this early on, you cannot like each other very much. And that doesn't mean every hero has to be an asshole to Carol. Not at all. Some heroes are going to be nicer to Carol, and others might be horrible. But even the nice hero will still be a little bit with Carol at this stage. You're not going to be best of friends and holding hands and running into the field, the flowery fields together this early on. And also, another reason I like it is because it gives Carol a chance to, you know, show how much she wants to come along with us and how desperate she is. It's the desperation at this point that we got to get across with Carol. Because Carol at this point could just be like, I forget this, and then just go back and not care. But she's not going to do that. She's going to push the hero more. Because, one, Carol's very desperate at this point to join the hero because they're valuable to her. They can fight. She wants to be protected. She wants to find her family. She can't do that alone. And two, because she's got too much pride to give up. She wouldn't like being ignored. Note to self, if it turns out barrels are alive, immediately shout, let's go on an adventure and have fun. Yes, I mean, I would do that. I'll be honest, if I saw a living barrel, I'd be all for it. I'd be like, yeah, let's have a party. But for the sake of character development, I have to make sure I don't do what I want to do. Because then, you know, the character growth's over, or like at the start, it's already happened, and then it's like, well, what happens in the future episodes if we're Carol's bestie this soon? I'd say we'll end up besties with Carol by mid-game, maybe. Maybe mid-game. Because then there's going to be other obstacles by end-game. But it's all just rough outlines at this point, because obviously we might realise that arcs need to be adjusted and shaped differently depending on events that happen, but I think it's still cool to have like a rough idea in mind of how the arc might go. We're only really thinking of episode 1 arc at the moment, but we might very, very vaguely and briefly think about future episodes, but we don't get too caught up in it too much. You look at the barrel and then walk away. So that means we've done that and we can cross that off. That was short and easy. Now Carol forces her way into joining the party. She's going to get more aggressive at this point, but she still hasn't realised that she can be the inventory yet. She's not going to realise that until he picks something off the ground, which he's literally going to do straight after Carol's just had a little whinge to herself. And then she'll be like, oh, that's it. But, you know, we'll get that done. So, she could, I'm thinking what she could do. She could maybe, I guess she feels she needs to persuade the hero further because he's walking off and she's desperate. Like we said, she's desperate at this point. So she could be like, you could, how about you recruit me? And she might, oh, actually, I've got a thought. And then we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Something we failed to realise, which I actually realised myself the other day when we worked on this dialogue, but it slipped my mind completely. But something that's pretty important at this point is an explanation of how the hell Carol escaped from the flashbacks in Lakefall. Because at the end of the day, there were all of the villagers in Lakefall don't realise. You know, they know that some of them are aware that things are coming to life. There's going to be a mixture of factions, I guess, within Lakefall. I don't know if faction is the right term because they're all a community together, but there's different like beliefs within that community, and I guess one of those beliefs is that yes, things are coming to life. I'm a realist, and I know, and it's pretty obvious that's happening. A small group of humans might believe that, and you know, that means Carol's going to be careful if there's a group of humans that are aware of what's happening. Some of them are going to be in denial, you see, because some will be too scared to want to admit it to themselves, and others will blame the reptiles and say it's them, the racist ones. So Carol, like, how the hell would she have gone across that bridge? Because it's a long kind of walk for a barrel to do. People could have noticed, right? So Carol's going to use that to her advantage at this point and be like, yeah, I managed to like be sneaky and like get away from all those humans. Like, you know, maybe you could recruit me, or I'll be able to help. But the hero's going to still not be convinced. Let's resize that die. The hero still won't be convinced that a barrel's going to be anybody that's going to be any benefit for him in the party. So he'll still carry on walking away at that point, but then he'll pick some up off the ground, and that will be when Carol's like, inventory, that's what I can be. So thinking of how this dialogue could go, just going to get a very, very rough idea out right now. We can together flesh it out. Go away, go away. Nothing got my. We're all good. Don't know why random pop-ups were coming up. Luca, thank you so much for that follow, by the way. I appreciate it. Welcome to our awesome stream, where we all love RPGs and enjoy making one together. Okay, so now this dialogue's probably going to be a bit messy, but I'm going to just get initial thoughts on how it could go, structure wise, and then we could reword it and shorten it and tidy it up to our liking. So now, I don't know if hey is the right way of catching Lyra's attention. I don't know whether that's Carol's tone of voice. She tends to... Let's have a look. Oi. That's Carol's word, oi, not hey. So for consistency, let's remind ourselves, where's she said oi before? Where's oi? I swear we said oi with Carol. We haven't even said oi. This is the perfect time to say it. I could have sworn that we did. Because I remember us talking about that word, and we added it to a sentence, and that is why I put it there with the most common Carol phrases list. Yeah, for some reason it's not here. Is it because it's in scene 1 of main quest 2? Yeah, oi flashback, there we go. It's there. That was it. So, like people go, hey, and like to grab people's attention, Carol's word is always going to consistently be oi. Different NPCs and different characters will have different ones to kind of make them unique, tell them apart from each other. So, although my first thought was hey isn't a word that Carol uses Though another NPC might. So, Carol the barrel suddenly starts to scoff. Yeah, I like the word "oi." It's very British, isn't it? I think it's British, or am I wrong? I don't even know. How bad. Okay, so something like now I don't know if you recruit me is very Carol like. I'm still like thinking there could be a better way to ask to be recruited, because Carol's very pushy and she's very aggressive, and that might be a bit too polite. So, but you get what I'm trying to do. Carol wants to be recruited. That's kind of what we're going at here. And she's like, not a single one of those flesh bags back there saw me hop across the bridge. This bridge, because we're actually still on the bridge, I believe. I think we will be. I'd make I guess she'd make a good sneaky person. I'd make a good sneaky person. We're kind of that as the dialogue, but we need a way to sum that up. I make a good but I like this dialogue box simply because we're killing two birds with one stone. Like we're giving that explanation for why Carol was able to realistically cross the bridge, because some players might be like, didn't know, I did no one see this barrel walk across this bridge. But the Carol's explanation for why nobody saw her was because she's just that good at sneaking past, and it makes her a worthy, recruitable person. But I'm going to put a gap there for now because we don't know what it is. But someone sneaky, basically. She'd be good as one of those, I don't know what you call them, but when you like take cover, when you're hiding behind something, they could all hide behind Carol. And she probably thinks that would be how she'd be useful, but she's wrong, because she's only useful for the inventory, Carol. That's what you're best for. Hi Van, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Happy Friday. And hi Joe as well. How are you doing? We're finally finalising the Carol joining the hero scene. And we're getting it perfected. We've improved a bit of the dialogue that we had before, and now we're carrying on. This is very, very rough around the edges, this is at the moment. What I'm going to do is make a few little notes in this box here. We'll make it a different colour actually. Just so we've got some notes on thoughts, because Carol wants to be recruited, but it might be too polite if she asks, but it might be too unlike Carol to ask so politely. Maybe she should be more pushy, aggressive, or bossy. So that's the first thought, because this might be too polite. And then she thinks she could make a good sneaky person. Can't think of a good word. One will probably come to me when the moment comes, but right now I'm drawing a blank on the right word for that. Sneaky person is obviously not what we wanted to say. Because yeah, she got across that bridge without being noticed. That's actually quite impressive, Carol, to walk across such a long bridge and not be noticed by a single human. Thank you, Mooncloud, for that follow. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. It is a happier Friday. I'm glad to hear it. I hope you've got a good weekend planned. I'll be doing a lot of work this weekend in prep for Stream 200 because we're going to have a couple of new things on the stream. I'm excited. And what engine are you using for your game? Is it just about dialogue? It is going to be made in RPG Maker. And it's story rich. It's a story rich 2D RPG game. It's not like a text adventure or anything. It's got visuals. It's like a 2D RPG. So think 2D Final Fantasy games like Final Fantasy 6, Chrono Trigger, things like that. That's kind of the style we're going for. Joel Hoto, thank you so much for that follow as well. But we're doing a lot of dialogue planning at the moment because I'm one that prefers to get all my dialogue organised and perfected in flows before entering it straight into the engine, because it's not really, for me, would be very messy, and especially because we have branching paths and a lot of like variables such as affinity points and romance points and all those kind of things, and moral points as well. It's kind of useful to have them all laid out. Okay, so the only I like this bit, but the end of it needs editing and this bit needs editing, and I'll go back to that in a sec because something might come to me, but we'll carry on with the rest first. Sometimes it helps to do more first. So Carol she'll try. Carol will try to force her way into joining the party. And we've done that, sort of, even though the dialogue's messy. You continue to walk away and pick something off the ground. Now, this is the moment when the hero puts something in his pocket and Carol realises she can be the inventory, so we'll work on that bit right now. So, what's going to happen here is in fact, I think I just want to edit this to this. I don't know if Oi been there twice flowed or worked for me. And she says wait up a lot. But that is too polite. Recruit me now. Oi, wait up. You better recruit me. Not a single one of those flesh bags back there saw me hop across this bridge. Yeah, something like that. Let's just get a few ideas in. Yeah, I think because it's worded as a question at the moment, that's coming across as too polite. So if it was if it was worded so it's more of a demand, I think that's far more in Carol's personality. So now I'm just separating the dialogue a touch, because that just means it's going to be in a different dialogue box, and for pacing reasons I like to do that, because nobody wants to just have a massive text all in one dialogue box. In real life, people speak say their sentences separately with gaps in, so there we go. Oi, wait up, oi, wait up, pause. You should recruit me, pause. Not a single one of those flesh bags back there saw me hop across this bridge. I'd make a good... Okay, so we've sorted that now. We can delete that bit, because that is fine. God, why can't I think of a word for a sneaky person? Or all that, I need to know the term, because I know in my head what thinking she could be, but I don't know the proper term or name for it. But I don't want it to sound too like, I don't want people to be like, a good what? I want it to be like, the word to be familiar enough. So something simple is probably better, so we get to the point more easily. A good sneaky... Well, I've got to look into this. And good isn't complimentary enough either. Carol would use a more arrogant word than good, I think. Thank you for joining our Discord, Ladge. I appreciate that. Let's say thank you. Also, if anyone else wants to, I don't, for some reason it's, oh gosh, what the freak. This is why I don't like my mobile. Crap. I've accidentally sent that person a friend request. And I never send anybody friend requests. How do you do this? Where's pending? I want to send people a friend request. Let me delete it. It's not letting me. Discord, you're silly. Oh God. How embarrassing. Rose is using RPG Maker. Yes, I am. Don't worry, Van. I believe I answered that question. I like your bat emotes. Thank you, Cappy. Appreciate that. I made those ones myself. What on earth, guys? Does anyone know how to delete pending friend requests? Because I just sent a complete rando friend request. I'm sure they're a lovely person, but it really isn't even going to let me take that back. That's bad. Because I don't have any, I have my DMs closed, so I don't send people friend requests or anything like that. See, I never used that S. She's just working on the story part and dialogue right now. What S? What's an S? Never heard of an S before. Right, I'm gonna have to figure this out. One sec. Honestly, guys, we have a website, and I do try to like the website's in the title and stuff, so there is a lot of information on this project on there. If you want to see more, we have a trailer, we have an FAQ. There's a lot on there. Okay. One sec, guys. I might have to do this on my desktop. Jesus Christ. Oh, they rejected my friend request anyway. Because it's, wow. I probably think I'm some weirdo now. Cross off. Oh, it's Luca. It was you, Luca. Forgive me for the friend request, Luca. It was an accident. Now I know who you are. I feel better because I didn't recognise your original name. So, let's get the Discord up. So if anyone else wants to, I mean, the Discord, I don't think the link's working in the panels right now for some people. So if that will work. So if anyone does want to join, that would be fab. The more the merrier. Okay, now we were carrying on. I work with Unity. Oh, you must be one of those pro coders then. Yeah, I'm not a coder, you see. I'm very straightforward about that. It's I'm just a storyteller. So I want to make a game, a good story, something with substance and that's lore rich. RPGs are wonderful for that, so I'm very excited. And RPG Maker happens to be pretty, not too bad at all. I've grown up using that engine ever since RPG Maker 2000, so it's the one I'm most comfortable with. That's great to just use the tool that's best for you. Yes, I agree. It's about don't matter what the tool is. People can get very think that the tool is everything, but not at all. It's about the creator, not the tool. You are great. Thank you. That is very kind. So next part of the dialogue, where were you? Walk away from Carol. You pick up a herb on the ground and put it in your pocket. Yeah, we'll say that. Now, this used to be a bit different. Originally, you were going to go straight into a battle and the hero would get some loot from that battle, and then he'd put that loot in his pocket in a scene after the battle. And I thought, now that's the transition would be too clunky and disruptive, so we're not going to bother having a battle in the middle of a scene. So the way we're doing it now is that we just make it part of the scene for them to pick up this herb off the ground, because we're going to add that anyway. When it comes to picking up items like your antidotes and healing stuff, so you can obviously not die in battle, they will be like pickable items on the ground that probably will be a bit shiny or sparkly or something. And because this is a forest, you know, herbs, it's kind of likely that would be some sort of healing herb or something that we could have. But it's a question mark right now because we haven't really had item streams yet. In the first playable build that we bring out, which is here in our Trello, we won't have items in the first playable build, probably. In fact, we won't, because I mean, we might, because obviously we're going to have fights and a boss fight, so to some degree we do have to have the items there, but they won't be fleshed out or anything. They'll just be very simple and standard in the first playable build, and any fancy stuff we'll do after as time goes on. Carol is great. All hail Carol the Barrel. She is loved here. People just got very attached to Carol, and I'm wondering why. I'm very curious. What is it about Carol that people just can't get enough of? Is it the fact she's a barrel? Is it because she's got sass? Or is it something else? I'd love to know. I mean, I might have an idea myself, but I always just like asking anyway. Mike looks like being too close to the keyboard. It is. There is a lot of keyboard noise in this stream, and it's because I don't have the desk space. I live in a very squashed environment, and also I'm very poor, so I can't afford any fancy equipment. So unfortunately you have to put up with the keyboard ASMR. Some people love it, believe it or not, but I do realise it is a deal breaker for some, but there's nothing I can do about it. Sass. Sass, you like the sass. So if she was a human, but had Carol's personality, she'd still be awesome. I think the barrel is a real winner, though, I have to say. The fact she's a barrel, that helps. When I move out, when I get my double bedroom, I might be able to change my setup just a touch, but I don't really see, we'll see, because I'm one that doesn't fuss over things like that. I just do what I need to do and do it. You pick up a herb on the ground, put in your pocket. Done. Okay, so what would Carol be good at doing? She would make, I've got to think of a better word than good, because good is, I'd make a master sneaker. I'm a master at sneaking. Something like that. Now, doesn't have to be the one, but that's just the start. If we could always get a few more ideas in what Carol is good at, but it kind of has to connect to the fact that she was able to sneak past the flesh bags on the bridge. So sneaking is the obvious one, because she was able to get past and nobody saw. The whole point in this little section is to kind of tell us as the player how she was even able to get past, because otherwise it's a bit of disbelief there, thinking how did the barrel get past a village full of humans that are very anti-barrel. Some of them, maybe not all, that might, you know, get freaked out a bit if they saw her, because she's a master sneaker. That's why. Now, I don't know if master's the best word though. We might want to use another word, but something that shows that Carol's got a bit of an ego, a bit of arrogance about her. She's gonna exaggerate her abilities. So a word that's equally as powerful as that could be cool. Keyboard sounds are nice. You like the keyboard? Good. I do get a bit like, oh no, the keyboard's loud, but I try not to worry about it, because if I did, I'm not gonna ever get anything done, or I wouldn't even get any dialogue up or anything. I bought a chunky keyboard recently, and she can hear it from her office across the hall. Yeah, and to be honest, I don't think it's my mic being close to the keyboard. In all honesty, I think it's just that my keyboard's really loud. I have a very cheap keyboard. I think if I bought a quieter keyboard, it wouldn't be as bad at all. But those keyboards are expensive, man. You know, I never really hear your keyboard, don't you? I've looked back at the VODs and I've been like, oh my god, it's loud. Well, I guess it bothers some more than others. I'm very sensitive to noise, so that's probably why when I've looked back at my VODs, it's been loud for me. But some people don't mind at all. I'd say it's kind of both. Sass can be fun, and being some unusual non-human creature like a barrel helps people take a character as silly and endearing. Yeah, that's Carol. She's silly and endearing, and I think she can get away with things, can't she? Because she's a barrel. Like, she might not be quite as charming if she was a human. She might be a bit of an asshole if she was a human. It depends, because Sassy's a really awesome quality to some people, but it can be an annoying quality to others, but I like it personally. Then again, I'm focused to work and I've been here a while, so maybe I've learnt to ignore. Yeah, you've got hardened to the noise. But yes, for sure. I mean, some streams it's not as bad because we don't always do dialogue writing or note taking every single stream. But yeah, when it is, you'll hear it. Embrace the keyboard ASMR. That's what we gotta do here. One day when I'm rich and can afford the best keyboard ever, then maybe it will all be okay. But some of you might miss the keyboard if we didn't have one. Who knows, maybe some people like lurking because of the keyboard. I'm a master at sneaking, and I'm gonna just make a note here saying I don't know. Let me just look at the I think we're getting there. I don't know if we'd think of anything better than sneaking to describe that. And he gets to the point okay, but I don't know about the word master, so let's have a look. Might be a bit too masculine for Carol. Expert, bit formal, I know. Expert, Magister. I don't know if Carol's vocabulary would, because Carol always says Carol's not the most, how would we say it? I mean, she's no she's definitely got the sass enough to string some really cool words together that would give you, that burn you. She's savage, that's for sure. She can be descriptive when she wants to be, but I don't know if she'd be like someone like a Nigel, where she's got she's real articulate and has a very like advanced vocabulary. She'd be cool as a human, I think, but maybe more intimidating to some people. Yeah, if Carol was a human, like if she was the exact same as who she is now, she would probably. I'd still love her, I think, for sure, because I just like the sass, but I think that she'd definitely intimidate some people. Pro at sneak. Pro's good. I think I'm more inclined to use a word that's probably more shorter and sweeter. Pro, expert, whiz. Which I probably wouldn't use whiz because... oops, I accidentally crossed off my other browser and now I've lost my notes. Do that again. I'll log in a sec. Damn. I'm a pro at sneaking. Now, I will still put a question mark there, because just in case there's others. Pro might, I don't know if pro's too, what's the word? Cool for Carol. It's like, the cool kids use that word. I'm not sure about expert either. I'm still very, very indecisive about what this word could be. So I'm willing to take thoughts, and I'll list them if we get a few. But it's getting the right word for Carol, because I'm very fussy about this. I like to make sure they're in character. And Carol is someone that's a bit blunt, to the point. Not the most, like, intelligent, but definitely streetwise. That's Carol. Pro, yeah, that's the one thing. I thought it was going to be good at first. I was like, that's a nice short word. But then seeing it there made me think it sounds like something a more teenager or a younger person, or more of one of the cool kids in the game would use. And I'm sure there will be characters that will have that sort of vocabulary, but not Carol. We'll stick to expert for now. I feel like that's a simple enough word that kind of is a good middle ground, I guess. Okay, so one sec, folks, because I did accidentally turn off my browser, and I had my notes on that browser incognito in it, and it's gonna just take a bit of time to log back on. Also, one sec, guys, I'm just gonna quickly do something. But I think we're on target. I think we're doing okay. Okay, I'm gonna copy and paste my notes into Notepad, actually, because having them on a website somewhere saves me having to keep logging in all the time. So I'll cross that off now. Okay, so You continue to walk away. Just so we know that you are still continuing to walk away. So as you're walking away, like you're ignoring her still, basically. She's not convinced you yet. She's started to show her desperation a little more. But she hasn't convinced you yet, so you still walk away, and as you do that, you pick up the herb then. I forgot today was Friday, did you? Oh yeah, hi Rex, how you doing? I did see that your little character wasn't there, and I assumed that you forgot I was streaming because because I put up on the Discord that I was cancelling my stream, and I kind of was like, oh no, I hope people remember I'm streaming today, because when I cancel a stream in the middle of the week, I always think that people think that means that I'm not streaming for the rest of the week, but I am here. But no worries, it happens. No one's ever going to catch up with the amount of raindrops you have though, so you don't need to worry. Except maybe Tetsu Rose. Well, you're fine, I think, so. Hi Rose, how's it going today? Hi Kung, how are things? It's good to see you. Well, I also want to support you. I love you. Rex is best lurker. He always makes sure, and I've noticed this. I haven't even said anything, but every time I open up my stream in preparation going live, he's always there. When I open up my bot, he's always in the chat, even when he's in bed, just so he can be in the stream before I go live. That's pretty committed, isn't it? And how's it going today? In answer to what Kung said, we are finishing off Carol's scene when she joins us. So we had a scene. The very first scene was when we meet Carol, but we now get the second part of the scene when she joins us. So we're just trying to make it as good as possible, because in the beginning this scene was so abrupt. Carol was literally just like, I'm gonna be your inventory, and then it was over. So we're pushing that character development further. We're pushing showing off Carol as a character a bit more to get us all a bit attached. We're gonna have that banter with her and the hero, except it's more of a one-way conversation because the hero's not uttered a single word at all in this scene, which is pretty impressive. You've done those things, but that's all just actions, not actual words. So the hero's gonna just walk away. And it's all a one-sided conversation where Carol's convincing you that she has to join. And in case you don't know why Carol, if anyone here is thinking, well, why is Carol so desperate to join a human that she hates so much? This is what scene cards are for. Because these black boxes here are Carol's internal thoughts. And because in every single scene, and this is from a book that I read, so I've become a pro at scene writing now because of this. But it's important, whether you're doing a game, a movie, or a book, or anything that involves a story, that every scene that you have is there for a reason. It's not just external fluff. There has to be that internal stuff going on under the surface and the reason for why that scene exists in the first place. Otherwise, you might as well just cut it because it's not serving any purpose or adding any additional character development or plot development. this just gives the explanation of Carol's, because Carol's the main character in the scene, so that's why it's Carol and her thoughts here. But she, of course, some of you might know this, but she wants to be the hero's inventory. And the reason she wants to be the hero's inventory is because she desperately wants someone who's a proven good fighter with a weapon to protect her, because she has been through some crap with humans. She lost her parents. There's rumours going around that her parents died because of horrible things that humans have done, which we kind of discussed in our Halloween stream, and we're going to talk about that more next week. We're going to pin down the Carol backstory events together. That'll be super fun because there's some really good ones there. But Carol's got a messed up past, and she's cynical. She don't like humans, and she fears for her life, although she'll never show those fears. She's willing to take the risk of being with potentially horrible hero who might kill her. But that's why she wants to be the inventory, because she's like, well, they won't harm their inventory, will they? So Carol's a smart cookie. She's a smart cookie, so nobody can... Because I remember someone asked that in the stream a while ago. They were like, why would Carol be with the human when she hates them so much? Why would she be with the hero? Well, this is the answer. I want people to be able to throw these questions at me and me to be like, because this. And then we won't have plot holes then. One of my favourite Chrono Cross songs is playing right now. Oh, I wish I knew which one that was. Oh yes, is it this one now, or was it playing a few minutes ago? Because sometimes I know the songs are only a few minutes long and it could have been the one before. But yeah, I love them all in Chrono Cross. I think they're all really beautiful. This one now, yeah, I think it's one of the best RPG soundtracks. I've not even played the game. That's pretty impressive, isn't it, when you've not even played a game but you love the music. So yes, we're just making sure that we touch all those key points from the scene card. And then we did an outline, and we're halfway through now. We're halfway through the scene. So this is the point we're at now. Dirty flashbacks. That's what Carol says to you if you draw your weapon out. She's not surprised. I do like this new version in that dialogue box because she don't freak out. She's calm about it, but it's like it's so predictable. It's like she has it in her head what humans are like, and they know nothing but violence, so nothing would surprise her at this point. That what humans are like. And then you continue to walk away, pick up a herb on the ground and put it in your pocket. Okay, so here we are. Now we can cross that bit out, because really that's all that's involved. My favourite Chrono Cross song is the opening title song, which I've forgot the name of now. Let me look in my iTunes. Time's Scar is my favourite one because I think it's just like shockingly good. The composition of that one, the build up is mad and I love it. I also really like Star Stealing Girl and The Faraway Promise. Probably that is my top 3. But I think in general, the whole soundtrack is really good. There's not one bad one. And I'll ask chat as well, what's your favourite soundtrack? RPG soundtrack though. I'm going to ask because it's always good. I always want to explore new soundtracks. And although we got quite a hefty playlist right now, I'll be up for adding more as long as I like the tracks myself. Because I'm extremely fussy with music tastes, and I only like curate tracks I like. I'm going to add Xenoblade Chronicles to our playlist, a few of the tracks from that game as well soon. Okay, so Carol inspect you, mock you, and offer to your inventory. So this is part 2 now. I've got 1 in brackets because that's the first part of the scene card. Carol approaches you and attempts to convince you to let her join. Which kind of we did twice. We did it at 0.3 and 0.5 really. She's kind of attempted to convince you to join both here and here, but mainly here. So she's a lot less subtle about it at this point. She's kind of just spelling it out. You should recruit me by that point. She kind of was insinuating it here, but she didn't force it enough. So she's trying harder now. And this is going to be the point where she offers to be the inventory. So we've already got the dialogue for that because we did it before. So I'm going to find it. It's hiding somewhere in my notes. So let's get the I like really zooming out super far and seeing which one's the longest scene. Right now, can you believe that scene 1 is the longest scene? It was the shortest scene at the beginning. Well, it's the longest scene in Main Quest 1. The fruit scene and the barrel scene in Main Quest 2 is way longer than any of these scenes, like 4 times the length. Maybe 5 times the length, but it's pretty crazy as scene 1 is now the longest scene, considering it was only 1 dialogue box long a week or 2 ago. Good. I love expanding dialogue and making things better. Because sometimes things hit you later, you know. You think, hang on a minute, that scene could have that in it, and it'll make it even more powerful. I'm not against doing that. I'm all for polishing. But this scene's gonna be the longest when it's done now, because we've still got more to do. So where is that Carol dialogue then? Okay, I've got it. I think I've got it here. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh, I'm hungry already. I had the biggest lunch as well just before I went live, and I'm famished. Why am I such a beast? I'm not even a big person. I have a tiny stomach. Rex, when me and you live together, I'm going to be such a beast with food. But I'm intending to like get more into cooking and stuff when we live together, so it's fine. As long as we got food, I'm good. As long as we got ingredients, I'll do some. Okay, so follows you. Now, I've got a really nice way of doing actions now. I put it in italics and make the text grey. I think it looks really pretty, having it like that. And if anybody wants to follow the scene, if you're not updated with the newest dialogue, feel free to look at the embedded dialogue trees on the Lore Bible, because we only recently updated scene 1. Like scene 1 in the early days only had, remember the days folks when it was just that? Just that dialogue box and nothing else. She was like, get out, so gross, nobody's ever been inside me, I feel so violated. And then she like said, I can't believe how long I put up with you on that cot. And then and that was it, the scene ended. She just disappeared. But we've like developed it to the extent that we've added a Lightfall villager now, who we don't know. They're a mystery person right now. They've just got a question mark as the name, but they are going to be a human Lightfall villager, one of them. And honestly, it's shocking what you can potentially do this early on in the game. You can kill Carol, Kappa. You can't kill Carol. But the player might think that, because you do get to say, you do get to tell the NPC that they can chop her up and break her. You can't kill Carol. She's MVP. She's endgame material, guys. She'll be in the 6th episode. I'm not saying she'll live by the end. In fact, I'm assuming at least one of the endings will have her die, because Raindrop Chronicles is going to have multiple endings, but she can't. She's too main to go now. How about? Oh no. Yeah. Would you cry, Binary, if Carol died? Would it break your little heart? Carol can't die. It's such a joke. We can have lots of fun meals together. Yes. I'm going to steal all my dad's recipes because my dad's a master chef. I am a joker. Honestly, it would break my heart too if I had to write such a scene, Binary. I wouldn't be able to get through the stream without crying. But sometimes you have to tear your own heart into pieces as a writer. But don't worry, guys, this is endgame stuff. In fact, probably everyone will die at endgame if one of the endings is bad enough. But there'll be good endings where everyone's gets okay, like resolutions to their arcs. All depends how you play the game. Kill that little child jug thing. No way. Are you saying that this cute thing here, let's get him up. Oh my goodness. Are you saying that this cutie pie should die? Who agrees with this? Who's for Oliver living and who's for Oliver dying? He's adorable. He's meant to be seen as the precious thing in the world that needs saving. Oliver should live. I want Oliver to live. I'd say most people, like 90% of our following base and followers would want Oliver alive. But the 10% want to, be a bit of a rebel. They always exist. If you're making me choose between a cookie carrying jug and sassy barrel called Carol, I'm going with Carol. Well, I'm very happy that Carol's so loved, that's very important because she's literally the main character, so that is very important that Carol's popular. So I'm happy, Binary. And besides, we need some bright, happy moments in this game too. Oh yeah, let's be clear. Although this game's going to touch upon dark themes, like we've talked about that plenty, it's going to be light-hearted as hell as well, with a lot of very heartwarming moments mixed in. I intend to evoke all the emotions here. The 8 emotions, apparently, is what it's called. If you Google the 8 emotions, something might come up, but it's an actual psychology sort of thing. And I want players, I want the audience to not know what's coming next, like in regards to the quest, like where they don't know whether it's going to be a funny quest or whether it's going to be a sad quest or if it's going to be a mysterious, intriguing quest or a, you know, a heartwarming quest. Like, because if it's predominantly a dark game all the time, it could get a bit stale quite quickly, and it becomes predictable. So I like that there's going to be a mixture of different emotions going on in different quest lines, because then that, you know, your audience doesn't know where they are, and that's what makes it exciting, because you don't see it coming. Me not sorry, not sorry. Oh no, I was kidding on if it's really caused a real thing in chat. But that's interesting to me. I like the debates. Hi Kia, how you doing? So good to see you. I think at the end of Oliver's story we should find some magical cookies in his jar that heal the hero or brings a lot of smiles, one or two. Oh, for sure. I think Oliver needs to be the definition of wholesome in this game. If that can be his character, that precious little beacon of light that keeps us all going. Because really, Carol's the main character. Obviously, I don't count the hero because the hero is like a blank slate that you shape. So if I'm only counting pre-made NPCs, Carol is definitely the main character here. And her quest is to find her family. But the family member she cares about the most is Oliver. So that makes Oliver extremely valuable and important because he's the MacGuffin of the game. And he has to be adorable because if he's not, we've failed. But interesting thoughts, like Forgotten Crusader said that Oliver is made of gold in his eyes, so that's a sign of a lovable character. And Van says he could come back with a small chip in his ceramic. Imagine how sad that would be if he got chipped. But Oliver is going to be He's a cookie jar that once belonged to a human in Lakeful before he became sentient. And the boy's name who owned him was Oliver. Because this isn't the updated avatar. I have no idea why I don't have the updated ribbon on him. I'll have to switch it. But he does have Oliver very subtly and faintly round that red ribbon. And it's because the owner's name was Oliver. And I think that could create some interesting plots, like a conflict, like the whole like, oh no, should I let this child have his cookie jar back, or should I keep him with the Barrel family? But I mean, that's not going to be something that's immediately resolved, because you're not even going to like find the containing characters until much later on in the present day. But you can go back to Everbloom Forest and stuff. You will have fast travel where you can like finalise quests that have kind of, you know, so now and again in future episodes there might be opportunities to revisit regions, is all I'm saying, even though each episode is predominantly just set in one region. Well, we're all different, and I'm glad. Feel free to share thoughts and ideas, like what Van said, for example. I'll be copying and pasting it when I look through my VOD and putting it in our notes section. And eventually I might like update the community ideas and thoughts section, because it's kind of old stuff that's here right now. But I do still have that big giant notepad full of ideas, and it's going to come in for story suggest-a-thon streamed as well. That is. Otherwise, we'd just forget everything. All those ideas would go to waste. I'm releasing my first MZ test play hopefully tomorrow. Oh, that's fantastic, Kia. Hope that goes well. Test play. The day when Raindrop Chronicles will be there. Well, you know, one day. We've got our estimated release dates here. I'm planning 5 playable builds before the official release. But each of those 5 playable builds might have mini releases in between, like for small fixes. But there's 5 major builds that I'm planning, and obviously the 5th one's the beta. And the first one was like very, very early stuff, very early pre-alpha, like only main quest 1 and 2. And I think it's very important to label your game as that pre-alpha and alpha and stuff, because otherwise if people do get their hands on it, they might accidentally think it's the entire game. And you kind of got to be upfront, I guess, of what it entails. And that people know that it's still early stuff and it's still very much up for adjusting. Nothing's like 100% set in stone. Graphics might have an update. Battle system could completely have an overhaul and things like that. Like, nothing's really set in stone until the beta really. So, yeah, I'm glad I've got all those down. Feel free to have a look, folks. !Trello if anyone wants to have a nosy. I really like the organisation. So I've used the moon emoji to show the phases of completion. I thought it was a pretty... I wanted something to show time moving on, and that kind of did it best. So that's an empty, not a moon at all, that one, and that's a moon with a happy face. Thank you, Magic Bits, for the follow. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. You're definitely ahead of me. I'm just writing story at the moment. I'll eventually get to GFX and other stuff. I'm very pre-alpha too, yes. I mean, we've had 200 streams, well, we will next time. But it's really been an experimental beginning for us. Like, it took 100 streams for me to start taking this project seriously and make an actual commercial game. In the first 100, it was just going to be a very casual, light-hearted thing that wasn't even going to be that polished. I only did this for funsies because I thought, let's make just a silly game together. We don't have to take it serious. We'll just be silly and have fun. But then after about 100 streams or so, I was like, actually, this is pretty important to me, and I think it's got a ton of potential, so I'm going to push it further. I'm actually going to push it further than what it was originally going to be. So it's only like recently that I guess the last 100 streams I've started to be like, yeah. And a lot of changes have had to be made, mechanical stuff, experimentational phrases and all that. So, but I think that once we get that early pre-alpha up, the version 1, I think we'll definitely be seeing more updates more regularly, because we'll be sort of in the flow and of things by that point. We'll have got the foundation there, even if obviously some little bits need visually improving or mechanically improving. I'm pretty confident we can get it done at a better pace. So I'm seeing it seasonally, each update release at the moment. You've been busting your butt on this game. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. I have, for sure. And I do it because I just I get huge happiness from being creative with this sort of project. So I honestly feel like if I was doing this to nobody, I'd still really have a lot of fun, because I'm just a nerd for storytelling. But it just makes it even that much better that there's people watching and are into this. It just makes it even better. But even if it's just me, I'd still have fun. I think that's important. I think for anybody, you gotta have fun yourself. Imagine, you gotta ask the question as, if I had an audience of 0, would I still enjoy this? And if the answer is yes, then that's good. That's important. I'm lucky to get more than 1 viewer. Yeah, I'm very lucky that I've got a community here. I mean, it kind of helped for me, I suppose, that I streamed before starting this, so I had a base to build from. But I'm lucky that people like hanging out here, for sure. because it is not easy. Not easy at all to be a Twitch streamer. Some people, I think, assume that they can start streaming and get a ton of viewers fast, but it just doesn't happen. It's very rare. I think if you find even a few people in your stream, you've done exceptionally well. I love creating and doing this kind of stuff. We're on the same boat, yeah. It just gives me so much joy to see something come to life, a creation. That's for sure. Now, rambles can come to an end now because we can carry on with the scene. No, it feels like a lot of work. Oh, it is. Like, you have to love it with every fibre of your being, this sort of project, because if you don't, the hard work will just make you give up, because it is a ridiculous amount. Like, it's like 10 jobs. It's like, what if you're a solo developer, you're like one person doing 10 jobs. So you gotta, I mean, I don't know if 10's the exact number, but you know what I mean. So you gotta really love it, because if you don't, it will cause you to just give up. Plus, you need an edge to be noticed. Oh, you're talking more about this streaming and community aspect, I guess, Kung, not the actual game dev in this instance. You need an edge to be noticed. Yeah, I was lucky. Like, when I started, like, I'm thinking when I had 0 followers on Twitch back in the day, when I begun in 2017, I tended to have people just come in, and I don't even know why, but I guess I'm lucky. I'm one of the lucky ones. And although I'm not like a partnered streamer or anything to that degree, I'm still very grateful for what I do have here, because I know a lot can't even get this. So for you, it's both, yeah, for sure. Okay, so some of you might remember this dialogue that we're going to add now. Where are we? Here we are. One thing I just wished Oreo had was a darker scroll bar, because it's very pale. It can be hard to find it sometimes. But other than that, it's not too bad. So, follows you. Now, this is the dialogue that we had last time in the original scene that we're adding again now, so I'm glad to have it back, because it worked quite well. So, here it comes. It's a perfect moment now at this point to have it back. So she's not going to instantly realise she can be the hero's inventory. She's going to inspect you and mock you first, and it's going to come to her after. Because, you know, humans have to process things for a bit first. I'm calling Carol a human. People have to process things before they... Nobody's that much of a genius that they are like, yeah. So it takes time for Carol, the idea to form into Carol's mind that she can be in inventory. I think the build-up is much better than her just out the blue being like, I'll be your inventory, scene over. The way, new flashbacks. Your bare hands and your... What? There's a lot of like confusion going on here, and I think it's important that confusion is shown in the dialogue, because it's a concept very odd to Carol. I mean, she's probably picked up a few things from the human's way of life, from observing things over the time she's been alive, but there's still things that are kind of very foreign to her. And you're what? Putting it in those tiny holes. So this is word for word the same dialogue that we had originally in this scene, in this part. So this is an action. It helps to get the actions in so you can actually get an idea of a picture in your mind of the scene. Oh, you are hopeless. And remember we had like the romance bits coming afterwards where she'd like, where there'd be some flirting, like I'm hopeless without you. And that was brilliant, but I'm gonna put the romance dialogue in this scene aside because it's a little bit early, but there'll be a perfect time for it to come when we've gotten a bit more used to Carol. I think the romance is going to be a in the first meeting. I think it's a bit soon for Carol. If it was another NPC, maybe it could work having a first scene romance section, but it's a bit sudden. So that would make the scene from Main Quest 2, this one here, the first romance Carol interaction, and I think that one's fine because it's kind of just a joke, the hero being like playful at that point. But like full on like being like, oh, I'm hopeless without you, it's a very intense for the hero to say at the start. So there's not going to be any hero begging Carol to be the inventory. Carol's got to do all the convincing here. And let's not forget, the hero's not said one word to Carol yet, not a single word. So there's not been a word uttered by the hero at this point. Carol just rambled to herself. I love how the hero said nothing and Carol just is completely insulting them, being so savage with her burns, calling them hopeless, and you've not even said anything. Well, you have. You've done things like that have not impressed her. Okay. So I think at this point, this is when the light bulb is going to go off. So we've had the Carol inspect and mock. That bit's done. So strike through. But we haven't offered to be the inventory yet. So they're going to be the light bulb moment. And the scene card says, Carol watches you struggle to fit items in your pocket. She figures out her perfect role is to be your inventory. So yes, light bulb moment. Carol realises being with you is a risk, but understands that every hero needs an inventory, even the worst of them. And so Carol understands that she's holding all the precious items you won't want to harm. Right. So it'd be pretty cool if we could like sort of reveal this internal thinking of Carol in her dialogue, but we've got to be subtle about it. We can't, because people in real life, we have internal thoughts in this exact same way as what's in this black box for Carol, but we don't it's not realistic that we spill our heart out with every single thought. Usually when we have thoughts, we just keep them to ourselves. So it's okay if we keep this to ourselves, but for the sake of consistency with Carol's behaviour and what she does say, we need to make sure it matches with what she's thinking to a degree. And it's fine for her to sort of behave differently to what she's thinking because she's prideful and got an ego. Like, for example, in her head she could be like, oh, I'm really scared of this human, what if he kills me? But on the outside, because she's such a prideful person, she'd never show that. So it's okay sometimes. It all depends on the character, I guess. Okay. fireworks are going off right now. I don't like fireworks because of how they upset animals. I'm very considerate of animals and pets, and they should be protected over humans liking pretty lights. Okay. Right, so the dialogue that's going to come now from this point on until the end of the scene might not be the most perfect. I'll just tell you that now. So I'm definitely up for suggestions as we write this, because I'm literally going to just write as we go, and it's going to be very rough around the edges potentially. So yes, first draft dialogue coming up for Carol at this point. Any like notes that come to my mind, I'll make in a grey box below. Now I was gonna say, what if I hold all your... Now, what would we call inventory? She's not going to actually say the word inventory. It's a little bit formal. So she'd probably say spoils or booty. What if I hold all your booty? That sounds like a pirate. Maybe spoils is a good one. But Carol doesn't ask questions. Carol just bosses and demands. So she wouldn't say, what if I hold all your spoils? She'll say something more demanding, like, I know I'll hold all your spoils. She just forces away in there. She doesn't go, what if, or how about I do this? She'll just be like, I'm doing this. So like she says here, you should recruit me. She doesn't ask to be recruited, she demands to be recruited. I mean, we could always make that sound even more demanding still. Now, it's fine to say the inventory at this point, I think. I didn't want it to say I can be a, like, I didn't want it to just say that. I think that might work better to say your spoils first, and then say every hero needs an inventory, maybe. So I'm just to like emphasize that she's had a light bulb moment and she gets excited. I'm gonna say that. Lots of exclamation marks because she's excited right now, but Carol in general uses a lot of exclamation marks because she's a very aggressive, loud person. So if you ever think, God, there's a lot of exclamation marks here, it's because Carol is that kind of character. other characters will be more the strong and silent types that'll never have an exclamation mark. Hi Cake, how are you doing? So good to see you. Happy Friday to you. How are things? Every human is, and then she'll be like, just be gentle when you put sharp objects inside me, which is a callback to the first scene when she says, what gives you the right to jump into someone with your axe or arrows? That's sharp, or they're sharp, depending on what weapon you have. So that's a callback to that. And I feel like she should warn him again, because she wants to protect herself. She's very like, she don't want to be treated like crap. She's doing this, she wants to be the inventory, but there's no way she will accept any treatment. So this is Carol being stern and putting her boundaries in place now. I think it's very Carol to say something like that, but then be like, but no, you got to make sure you don't do this or that. Don't. Okay, so somebody a couple of weeks ago had a really endearing idea where that if certain objects get put inside Carol, they have an effect on her. So for example, if certain herbs go inside her, she'd get high, like as in she'd be like sort of drugged up. And if alcohol was inside her, she would get tipsy. So those are two really endearing, charming ideas for barrels and boxes and cookie jars. If things are inside them, I guess. I wonder how Oliver feels about cookies being inside of him. Like, how does that make him feel? If they get feelings and moods from what's inside them. I mean, we don't have to think super deep into it, but it is interesting. Cookies would make him sweet, and he is. Oliver is sweet. He's a beautiful, sweet, curious little boy. So I think we're in character there, because he is a sweetheart. He's a real sweetheart. What a precious being. Do they have the ability to hold anything? I guess anything could go in them. I mean, is there something you're thinking of that in specifically binary? There's nothing that's popping into my head right now that would be a no for them to go. And as long as it fits, I guess. As long as the object fits. And Carol's a pretty spacious barrel. The hero's inventory over time would definitely all fit in her. So, definitely better than trying to fit it in his pockets, that's for sure. It does make you wonder in RPGs, doesn't it? Some of them, where they actually put their loot. I mean, there's some more Western RPGs that are more realistic with their baggage, but it's like a Final Fantasy games, you're like, hang on, how are they like wearing hardly any clothes, but they're able to like have an inventory with like 99 potions and tons of other stuff in. Or bloated if he's gluten intolerant. Place his Raspberry stream on the 75-inch TV. Oh my gosh, I've got me large. Make sure you've got me on 1080p then, if it lets you. Awesome, Oliver, poison potion. Oh no, you think that he should be poisoned? Or he cures poison. But someone had an idea that Carol should have a cursed object inside her, I think it was at some point. That's kind of interesting. It wouldn't be, probably not early game storyline, because but who knows, I thought it was kind of interesting. Something inside her that could really harm her maybe later on when we care about her. Or any of the others. Maybe energetic from the sugar and a little bit of caffeine in the chocolate chips. Monkey Island inventory where you have a very baggy pants. Oh yeah, that's quite clever and charming. I love Monkey Island though. I grew up on those games. I love the humour and just fun. Love the style. But yes, he'd be Oliver. The question is if he's still got cookies in him. That's the question. I mean, I know that Van had an idea earlier on where we find cookies inside him and stuff. That was quite a sweet idea and wholesome. But Oliver is going to be used for the whole Raindrop storing plot from the antagonist as well as the other containers. So those barrels will get emptied and have water put inside them at some point in the game when Chub Cheeks, his character, does his dirty things to them, his dirty corrupt ways. They will have water in them. Woody will get wet, and yeah, that would be funny because it looked like he'd peed himself. And he'll get his chiseled shaped chin. But before the water goes in them, they've definitely got other objects in them, so it's something to consider what the barrels actually have had inside them, but pre-raindrops. It's obviously cookies for Oliver, we know that because it's a cookie jar, but it's a question mark about the others. Someone, I think, said Woody could have had love letters in him, right? I've got to reread that I'd submitted idea, but that was an interesting one. I think it was Xavier's idea. Or Van's, or both. Because I remember it was you two talking in chat at the time when the love letter idea got brought up. But we liked it because we says it connects with Woody's character of him being afraid and not liking rejection, and him being this charmer. Woody's this charmer. He says all these sweet talks, all the ladies, and he loves the validation, and he definitely wouldn't like getting rejected as that kind of person. So the love letter thing kind of fits him being that charmer sort of guy. I think I did that one, or Memories of the Past. Yeah, and there was another one, and I think this one might have been Xavier's, that Woody has puppies in him that got abandoned in his tragic past. That was a very, very sad one, but very, very a chance to get to know the vulnerable side of Woody. I mean, how would Woody pet the dog? That's the question. If there was a puppy inside him, how would he pet it? Because he doesn't have hands. That would be awful. That is like a curse. How tragic that you can't even stroke a dog because you've not got hands. Because if I was a cardboard box with a dog inside me, I'd be like, I want to stroke you, but I couldn't. 150 raindrops, so close, so close now. But yeah, there were some fantastic ideas with the barrels. I absolutely love that Halloween stream we had. We had so many cool ones, and I'm really looking forward to reviewing those and deciding which ones we more likely gonna go ahead with. And the ones that we don't do, it doesn't mean they're gone forever. There could be an opportunity to bring them in, who knows, in another way. But we will definitely have to shortlist the ones that we feel are the best for their plots. So I'll do sort of spoils. Every hero needs an inventory. Just be gentle when you put sharp up into it from my hands, so maybe go funny. So I like giving the audience that sort of like little foreshadowing on what could potentially happen to Carol. I think that's intriguing. People will be like, oh, the objects could have an effect on her. Is herbs the best word to use? Does that make it clear that she's going to get high? That's the question. Does that clearly make it obvious that they make her high? I think it does, but I just want to make sure. Sometimes you need other pairs of eyes. And next, I don't think we needed the box for that one, but we'll keep it there. Oh, I've thought of something, a good way to make it flow with the next bit. So my idea is that's just sprung to mind is because she was just talking about the herbs, she could actually do this. And it'll make more sense when we do the next section, because this is the reason I'm doing this, so it flows with the next part. Froze herb. Grabs herb and throws it at you, because she's violent and aggressive, so she'd totally do that, especially after just saying don't fill me with too many herbs. I mean, that's only one, Carol. I think you'll be fine with just one, but you know, Sunday. But yeah, she's going to do that, and it's going to trigger something now with the hero. And that, I think it works because it's just going to make this next section fly better and just make more sense without it being out of the blue and abrupt. Right, so in case anyone's like, what the hell, what's the lucky charm, we have a document in the ideas discussion called Character Development Hero. It's all about this lucky charm. It's going to be added to the Hit Custom Hero Creator. But the lucky charm is, let's just get it up. It's a way to bring the containers more of a focus in the story from the perspective of the hero. So he's got his own connection to them, or she, or they. And it turns out that the hero is actually holding an item that belonged to one of these originally. So it could be any of them. It's whichever one you pick in the custom hero screen. And who knows, maybe it could have a passive buff in some way or another in battle, or that little touch could be interesting. But it's the main purpose is for like giving a connection to the hero of the barrels, so that his objective in finding Carol's family with her makes more sense from the hero's perspective, because otherwise he's just a puppet tagging along, a follower with no mind of their own. But this way, having a connection, and there's a reason for why he's got them, which if you want to read more, it's all down here. It's gonna like provoke, I don't know if that's the word, it's gonna make the hero realise that they need to find this family of containers too. And they have more of an agenda, basically, an agenda of their own. The hero's backstory is still very, very vague and mysterious, because I think to a certain degree we've got to keep it that way, because they are an adjustable blank slate of a character. But it's enough of a backstory and development just to give them a bit more of a motive. So we don't want to risk the hero being just a nothing, following Carol for no reason, because that's what it would be otherwise. So if you want to read, it's in Ideas Discussion on our Discord, folks. And since Elvira has a pipe, would she just be filled with tobacco usually, or just a bulk supply of smoking pipes? Interesting. I guess we should think of Elvira's personality. Elvira, in terms of personality, is extremely traditional. She has extremely traditional values, almost to the extent that she's a little bit xenophobic. She's very protective of her family, very loving in kind of a controlling way, I suppose, in a very old-fashioned way with her family. She doesn't approve of Meryl dating an oil drum, for example, because she sees them as not one of their own. She sees an oil drum as beneath her, and so she's a definite snob, traditional. So thinking of those things, I guess it's thinking of the items inside her. I mean, we're thinking real deep here, and their personality doesn't need to be shaped by what's in them. They are the way they are because of their upbringing, their barrel life, I guess, that they've had, and what shaped them, the things that have happened to them in their lives. So that's really the true reason for their personality. So I wouldn't say it would form their base personality, but it could definitely be interesting to think of how items being inside them could make them act differently sometimes, or add just an extra layer or an extra trait to the character. So but it'd be funny if what was in Elvira made her the racist person she is, and if she was emptied, she'd be totally fine. That would be pretty weird to see a switch like that, but amusing. So it's an interesting one. It's definitely something to talk about and think about, that's for sure, because it's kind of a very unique thing, having personality traits based on what's in them to a certain degree. Okay, so your lucky charm pops out from your pocket, and Carol at this point is going to be like, now this is already on here a little example of how the conversation would go, so I'm going to just kind of copy it from what we have. I don't know if this needs to be a massive dialogue box, but we'll see. So what's that? Now, the player and audience at this point don't even know what the item, doesn't know the significance of the item, so it's not really going to be a big deal or cause us anxiety that Carol spotted this lucky charm that belongs to a member of a family, because we don't even know what that it does at this point. Well, the average player would, and you guys would know, of course. But it's going to just be here just so as a reason to explain why Carol can't have this item, because if she does have this item in her inventory, she'll know. If it was Oliver's red ribbon, she'd be like, why the hell have you got my son's ribbon? And that would be a plot hole, because she's not meant to find that out just yet. It's meant to be a tension builder between you and Carol over time, that you have this secret. She can't find out this fast, but it's interesting to have her be close to finding out. But it's going to lead to the hero being like, you can't have this because this is important to me, so I'm having this in my pocket. You can have everything else, but not my lucky charm. That's kind of be the excuse that we use for why Carol will never see it, at least not yet. But the thing about this item that's going to be good, I mean, this was Met's idea. It's going to potentially lead to a plot element that makes us find the containers in the end, because there's probably a magical property within this lucky charm item that will sort of guide us to where the barrels are. Where is it? Because it is written here somewhere. Yeah, this is it. So Maybe later on, once you've confessed to Carol that you have this item, there is a plot point where it is discovered that the container's item has a magical property, which is very likely due to them being brought to life from a spell. Now, with lots of raindrop element X, yeah, that's the reason. You realise that by tracking down the source, you can find the exact location of that container. So it fits because of the lore that we've already built anyway, so it's not beyond disbelief that, you know, we would be able to track the exact location of these containers from having this item, but we're not going to know that yet. That's going to be probably in episode 2 or episode 3 plot point, when we sort of have admitted we've got this item to Carol, and and we figure out from someone or another that this is possible to do and we can find them this way. It's all a journey, it's all an adventure. We're not going to find out straight away that we have the ability to do this, because the lore hasn't been revealed yet, or this whole business of them even being used for raindrops. How is it already 6 p.m? Oh my goodness, no way. So where was the dialogue? I don't want to finish yet. Hopefully my dinner's not ready. Okay, so obviously the hero can't say that because they don't speak. So we're going to have to approach his dialogue a bit differently. So she could say something like... So, having Carol assume, so that instead of the hero having to say it themselves, oh, you can't have this is my lucky charm, we can do it so Carol assumes it herself, and then we don't need to make them speak then, which is ideal. So, but then Carol, she friggin' wants her own way. So she'd say that, but then she'd be like, let me have a peek, please, because I want what I want. But and instead of the hero obviously saying no, because we can't make them speak. I mean, we can if we want to add player choices, but it's just a bit... It just would add a bit too much complexity and at this point, and it's kind of funny that the hero's not spoken. Yeah, and Carol's just rambling on. So we walk away again. You walk away again, and that's walking away is a no, right? By walking away you're saying no. You're like, no, walk off. And then Carol can just be like... Now the scene's coming to an end now, by the way, so she's offered to be the inventory at this point, as we've done the main thing, but the hero still at this point isn't convinced. I mean, it's probably because she's put her nose in too far by asking to have a peek, so it just annoyed the hero. But she's close. She's close to getting what she wants now. We're getting that. And she'll be like, ugh, fine. Now, Carol says the word ugh an awful lot. And she says the word fine a lot as well. So I'm going to make sure that all these common exclamations and phrases all get added here for consistency, and I'm sure there's more that we could add that I haven't done yet. Keep whatever that precious thing is in your pocket. I'll hold everything else. So she's compromising at this point because she's realising, no, she can't have that item. What we'll probably do is, obviously, because it's not part of the inventory, we'll have it in the status menu or info menu of the hero in a little box somewhere saying what your lucky charm is. Be part of the status menu instead. It won't be actually in the actual inventory, because then plot hole, Carol will see it. Okay, so the reason we need this sentence here is so that we can finally have the hero response, because this is going to be the point where the hero's like, please call me my name, not flashback, and then he'll be like, what's your name? So we had the introduction moment here, and it's when the hero has finally spoken and agreed, and then scene end. So we need to have flashback so that there's a reason why the hero says, please call me by my name, whatever it is, name here, not flashback. I mean, we could always have it here, hold everything else flashback, but I feel like it's just a bit better that she just tries to convince the hero just a little bit more, being pushy. And we've covered everything we need to. I mean, it's definitely been a build up and very spread out, this scene, compared to what it was, but it's added a lot of necessary information. Everything's there for a purpose, and had to be there to kind of make sure everything's covered. For example, the reason why Carol can't have the lucky charm, had to have that, otherwise people will be like, hang on, why can't you see that? And also we've given a bit of little barrel foreshadowing, and we've also mentioned how she was able to sneak across the bridge, and I think now were the main key things we need to kind of explain: how she got across the bridge and how she's not able to see the lucky charm, and that is done now. I don't know if I want again in capitals though, but the hero has walked away like 3 times. I love it. So this is the last. We're getting really towards the end now of this scene. We're not quite there, but we're nearly there. Basically now it's the conclusion. So she's offered to be the inventory, so we can strike through that. Text, strike through. Now this is where we are. Last 2 points of the scene. So we're going to get a hero choice now. You're going to agree to tolerate her, but we can have 2 different versions. So one version could be, so it ends with, go on, I'm the room, Mr. Barrels, you know this flashback. And we know this because we was insiders, so we know that there's a lot of space in there. And one could say something like, okay, I'll try to tolerate you. Please call me, name here, not flashback. What is your name? That could be one of the branches. Up for an edit or an improvement, for sure. That's just my initial thoughts. And then Carol could say, I'm Carol, and just so you know, I'm the leader here, you follow me. I need to find something very important. And that kind of is what could give her the tiny hint of the goal as the scene ends. And we could kind of have, if we wanted, we could have a bit more. Because really Carol isn't following the hero, Carol's going to follow us. So the hero's going to have to be like, no, I'm the leader. We'll think about that, but I kind of like the idea of her being like, yeah, I've got something I need to do too, so you follow me. Like that kind of would flow quite well after the introduction scene, I think. But what we'll do is we'll finish off this scene on our special stream 200 because we're so close now, and I could easily get these last few boxes in right now in the next 5 to 10 minutes, but we're already at 6:10, so I think if we do it at the start of the next stream, that would be good. I think that'd be a good idea, and then that scene will be done then. But before we do that, we've got to make sure we bring the to be continued section back. But yeah, feel free to have a peek at the dialogue, folks, if you weren't able to catch us putting it together, or all of it, putting it all together. But it's to be continued, so we might need to make a couple of adjustments if necessary. But the main goal of next stream is going to be to just finalise that scene and make sure it doesn't end too abruptly, like it ends at a good point as well. That we know Carol's with us now, and on we go through the forest. Hi Julian, how you doing? It's so good to see you. I hope you well, Julian. And then that will take us to the next scene, which is the Fiona part, and you can, with the option of pushing her in the lake. And what I like now is that we've already established how choices and consequences work in this game, because we've had it in the very opening scene now. So it's not as much of a shock now with the pushing in the lake thing. But I like that we had a major choice with Carol earlier on, and that we haven't waited too long to show how choices work in this game. Then yeah, literally once we've finished, like there's literally just going to be 2 or 3 more dialogue boxes now in this scene. That'll be it. See, main quest 1 dialogue complete for good. Now there could be a time where we want to make a change, and that's fine. If I release the first playable build, and we've had some ideas since then and thoughts from testers, then nothing wrong with making a little adjustment if necessary. But the base is there, the foundation's there, and at a state I'm happy with. So from that point on, I'll be able to. This is what we do. I'll be able to tick that because we'll have done it, and I'm gonna just, because we've already done scene 2, 3, and 4. They were done ages ago, but we still need to get them embedded in the lore Bible. So once I've done scene 3, I'll be working on getting scene 2 and 3 embedded in the lore Bible. Scene 2 and 4 are massively long, so it might take a bit of time. And then scene 5, we kind of had the outline for scene 5. We know what's going to happen in scene 5, but we haven't written it yet. So then that'll be the next job, to put the dialogue together for scene 5. And then we'll have our story base for the first playable build version done and complete. But obviously the next job will be to do the actual scenes of them, which I've kind of done. We've already done many of them anyway. It'll just be like tidying them up and adding the new extra expanded dialogue to them, and just finalising basically. But we're not moving on to skill and battle stuff or features and menus stuff until this quest and event and scene stuff is all like perfect. Because once that's all perfect, once all the scenes work and flow really nicely in game when testing, it'll be a lot easier to focus on the battles and focus on that side without worrying about unfinished scenes. So that'll be what we focus on once that the scene stuff is done. But while all that game dev stuff is happening, we're still going to have tons of streams that involve sort of story discussion for fleshing out for the future and things like that. So that's why that will always literally be there, I think, because it's going to be something ongoing that we always do. And I don't know when we'll have finished the outline for episode 1 and when we'll have set in stone what's going to happen, but we'll keep doing it until we're satisfied. Simple as that. But I'm going to send us over to someone else now, guys, who would like to come along with a raid. Exclamation mark raid. And next time I'm on is Monday. I'll stream 200. I'm so excited because I've been planning things, and there's going to be a couple of like little differences to show you, just small things, but still very exciting for me. Join in on the raid, peeps. That'd be fantastic. Plans indeed. So I'm looking who's on, and Drama Kittens, I mean, we've raided her before, but it turns out she's actually making a game herself now and just started it, so I think we should go there to give some support to a fellow game dev. It's always good to see. So any trivia? Let's quickly do a trivia first before we go. I did reset the leaderboard, so we've got a brand new leaderboard, guys. You have a chance of getting the first point of the month. What classes can you choose between for your hero? You've got it, Van. Nobody even stood a chance. Vandalia is Lawmaster for the foreseeable future. Did I do that wrong? I think what it is, I've got to put the name before the points. That's why. Here we go. Done. We did it. Okay, guys, thanks so much for hanging out today, and let's see what Drama's doing in her game, because it's always interesting to have a nosy on other people's game development. So be nice, be friendly, be awesome, and I'll see you all on our special stream 200 on Monday. That would be amazing. Take care, everybody. Have a good weekend.